Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. Important video today that I'm bringing to you about why change requires radical self-accountability. Now, this is one of the first concepts I discovered on my self-improvement success journey, whatever you want to call it. Anything that improves a man from, I was going to say A to B, but it's more like Z to A. You're going up. It's improvement. You're not going down from A to B. Any journey, whatever you're doing in your life, men's personal development, that's what we're talking about. It requires radical self-accountability. This was the first thing I learned when I invested my own money into coaching programs and started working with people that were offering services. The first thing was radical self-accountability. And in today's video, I'm going to give you an insight. I'm going to share with you my knowledge now, being a few years into my journey after traveling to 5 different countries. I've been to Thailand, I've been to Bali, where all the influencers are. I've been to Obsidian Gym in Bali. Around the influencers earning 100k per month. It was this one woman, she was about to go on a TV show. I overheard her, 15k a week. She's going to drop out before the final challenge, so she doesn't have to do the challenge, but qualifies for the 100 grand. Pretty smart, never underestimate a woman, which brings you on to the basis of today's video, something I just witnessed actually. So in the UK at the moment, the sun has come out, it is spring. And obviously in winter time, it is cruel. It's cruel. The English winter is a cruel time. Everyone is depressed, everyone is negative. And it rubs off on me as well, I would say. Just miserable faces everywhere. It does rub off on you. The negativity is infectious, especially in this country. But now the sun is coming out, people are around, and it's the weekend, which means the morons are out. So I was driving around, I was doing one of my drives. I like to visualize while I drive that I'm driving the car of my dreams. Porsche 718 Cayman, I think it is. I know what it looks like, I don't know the name. I've never really been a car fanatic. I just like the look of a car rather than the name and the specifications of it. So I was driving around, having my weekend drive, visualizing, playing music in the sun, happy. And of course, all the morons are released from the offices during the week. All the kind of low IQ average people, let's be honest, they're all out. Whether it's old people, whether it's just the herd is out. The herd has escaped. They're on day release or weekend release, quite literally. So I was driving around, I was heading back home, and I was approaching a 3-way roundabout. Now, if there's any time to indicate it is at a 3-way roundabout, indicate, guys, indicate. But as I was driving on, you know, as you approach the roundabout, the oncoming car didn't indicate. So I thought, okay, let's continue. Pulls out in front of me, inches from crashing, inches from colliding, and it was a woman. Yes, let's put that clear. A woman in a Range Rover. Didn't indicate, and I had no words. I just sat there. I was like there's no point getting overly emotional or reacting about it. You have to remain stoic, keep your mind in check, no matter what the situation or the scenario is. So I just held my hands up. I was like, just like that, just no words. My expression tells the woman everything. And she was like, oh, well, I forgot, sorry, and then indicated and then drove off. And it brings me on to the point of today's video. Accountability, guys. Keep yourself accountable. Whatever you're doing in your life, if you make a mistake, which everyone makes mistakes, but keep yourself accountable for it. Don't go around playing the blame game. And it's obvious to me that most men, a lot of my audience are in the ages of 25 to 35, which is quite interesting, a more mature audience rather than the younger ages. And the second largest audience group or age group on this channel is the one above, 35 to 45. So hello guys, a lot of you aren't subscribed, by the way, so subscribe to the channel, keep up to date. But yeah, I have a more mature audience, and you would think that guys like us, we're usually switched on, we're into personal development. You think most other people hold themselves accountable, but they don't. And the reason is most people are followers, and I was thinking about this on my drive. Most people are followers. Most people look to someone else to define their reality for them. They look to someone else to take the lead. Very few men are actually leaders. Very few men are willing to be the first one to stick their head over the trench, because we all know what it means. You're the first one to get shot. You take all the shit, you solve problems for all the guys in the trench. You've stuck your head over the trench, you've been shot in the face, and now the guys down below you know that there's enemies there, kind of thing. But there is an element of, if you want to change your life, you have to be the leader in your life. You have to, in some ways, lead yourself to do the things you need to do. A lot of guys are struggling with mindset, and I think it all starts at radical self-accountability. I remember when I was first starting out on my journey, I was very lazy. I was undisciplined. I'd get bursts of motivation at 3 a.m. I'd get these bursts of motivation where I'd enter into what can only be described as the flow state. I'd set up a whole website to start dropshipping. I'd follow a course, set up the whole website, get it done, go to sleep because I was knackered. My routine was all out of sync. My sleep was shit. My diet was shit. Everything was shit. I wake up. I go to sleep thinking, okay, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to continue building this dropshipping e-commerce. We're going on it. I'd wake up and I'd completely forgot about it. I'll be on to the next thing. And that is important, developing this self-account. And I'm going to give you the actual practical advice in a sec. But developing the practical, developing the actual accountability, the actual radical self-ownership, self-accountability of holding yourself account. Now, before I give you the advice, here is the great benefit. If you hold yourself to high standards and you actually align to it and keep on track with high standards, a lot of guys don't shower daily, would you believe? There are people out there, and I see them and I smell them. I smell them as well. They don't shower daily. By keeping yourself on high standards, by keeping yourself into your routine, good hygiene, everything, you are above the rest. Let's not cut corners here. Let's not create excuses for the lesser people. If you are keeping yourself on high standards, high accountability, you are doing stuff that most people don't do. It should be an average showering a day, but people don't do it. As a result, this is the great benefit. You can hold other people accountable. I would never hold someone else accountable for something that I don't do myself. But now that I have a structured routine, good hygiene, you smell fresh, and hygiene is an important thing. I remember I was at a job interview and I was surrounded by the typical video gamer man or young man that you'd see. Long greasy hair, hadn't shaved, a smell of like just sugar and rubbish food, was fat, wasn't really going in with childish behaviour, Enit fams using that sort of language. I was like, of course I'm going to get the job. Of course I didn't go for the job in the end. My life changed, the trajectory of my life changed dramatically. But this is the competition you're dealing with. Here is how you actually take ownership, how you actually keep yourself accountable. You need to have written rules. So in my room at the moment, I have I'll call it the Jane Harris's 10 rules for cultivating a positive mindset. And the purpose of those 10 rules, and I've sat down and thought about what's actually possible, what is realistic, what works for me. And I've outlined that in 10 rules. And the first rule was, my routine is adhered to absolutely. The routine keeps you disciplined. The routine keeps you structured. How you keep yourself accountable is making sure what you say goes. You have to be the dictator of your life. You have to be the king of your mind. If you're going around and trying to be the king of other people's life, controlling other people, bossing them around, and you're not doing it yourself, you don't deserve kingship at the moment. You don't deserve to be a king, because you're trying to boss everyone around, being a spoiled, entitled brat, and you're not actually doing it yourself. So you make sure your word is iron. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say. You're willing to live by the side, sword, die by the sword. You set yourself a time where you wake up. The alarm goes off, you don't want to wake up, you get up anyway. You say you're going to go to the gym for 2 hours and have a heavy workout session. You go to the gym for 2 hours and heavy workout session. This morning I didn't want to do cardio and abs. I love weights. Weights is what I do. It's pumping iron, I love it. But you can't do it all the time. So in order to keep in with the gym routine, which is a rule I set myself to keep myself accountable and structured and in my routine, making sure my routine is adhered to, the gym, I have to go. So I've got to find other things to do. Cardio and yoga. Yoga to de-stress. Cardio is a bit of a different way to invigorate my body. But then 2 hours at the gym. Today is more of a slower day for me. That's why I'm driving around. One of my rules for cultivating a positive mindset is engage in activities that bring me joy. You have to keep happy. Like, you have to keep yourself in a positive vibration, a positive emotional state, because otherwise what is life for? I was doing some research and a lot of guys are struggling with being stressed, being pressured without purpose. They just feel disconnected from the world around them, like their life doesn't mean anything and they're living without, they have nothing to care about, no reason to live, which is very sad that they feel this way. And it's why I make content, to try and help you guys that feel that particular way. I forgot my train of thought with that one. It'll come back to me later in the video, guys. So yeah, make sure what you say goes. So if you say you're going to go to the gym, go to the gym for 2 hours. No ifs, no buts. If you're coming back and relaxing, make sure you relax. This is what I was saying. When you need to give yourself periods where you can actually enjoy life. If you're locked in all the time, monk mode or hustle culture, whatever, you have no time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You have no time to engage in the world around you. That's why a lot of guys are disconnected, because they're just so zoned in and focused and autistically detailed and hyper focused on their singular task that they can't actually switch tasks. They're so focused on business and money. When it comes to women, like if a woman walked into their office, for example, they wouldn't know what to do because they're so zoned in and locked in. But that's besides the point. Your words have power. Your words have value. You should never speak. You should always keep your tongue in check because your words have power. You apply this to holding yourself accountable. So if you say you're going to do something, you sure as shit better do it. And there needs to be a punishment. And there needs to be a punishment, a way where you feel uncomfortable, you feel guilty, you feel shameful. There needs to be a punishment for not following what you want to do. Actions have consequences. And this is why, as I was driving around earlier and this woman almost crashed into me, this is why I went like that. Because I could have just sat there and just let it go. It didn't hurt me. Gave her a fright, clearly, because she knows she did wrong. But actions have consequences. There are lines to cross. If you don't indicate at a roundabout, you could very seriously hurt someone, me, by your stupidity, not keeping yourself accountable, just dozing, drifting around. Actions have consequences. You need to have consequences in your life that punish you for not following your own word. Now you may say, Jay, that you seem a bit harsh. You're being a bit harsh on yourself. The world is harsh. If you haven't figured out by now, the world is tough. The world doesn't respect your feelings. If you are, well, let's take the example of me in the car. If I'm sat and it makes me angry and it disrupts how I'm feeling emotionally, I then can't go driving around like a madman. Oh, I'm angry. I'll give you an example. We'll finish the video with an example. I used to have a friend that let people out, would always let people out of turnings when you don't actually have to. It's your right way. You'd always let people out. But as they would pull out, he'd drive up their arse and flash them, or get angry and drive up their arse. Like, you can't let someone out being genuine and kind to someone and then try and drive up their arse, which is the same thing in your life. You can't say look yourself in the mirror, I'm the man, you do your affirmations, you big yourself up, and then you don't go to the gym after saying you're the man and you're going to go to the gym. You can't not go to the gym. Like, it's on you. Radical self-accountability is the one thing that can change men's lives, and it's the one thing that every man watching this video requires to have within their mindset, within their body, within their psyche. We do have a significant problem with weak male father figures. The older generation, the generation above us, I'm 22 at the moment, I'd say there is a significant problem with the older generation. More interested in getting drunk. Like, who do you see at the pubs, at the bars? Who do you see getting drunk mostly? Middle-aged men. Middle-aged men. What more needs to be said? What is the generation that are... Look, everyone looks at, and this is besides the point, but everyone looks at young people and tries to hold young people to a very high standard, I feel, in today's day and age, without realizing that young people are only going to be as good as the people that bring them up. Young men are only going to be as good as the men that bring them up. So if the men that bring them up are drunks, go to the pub, are very undisciplined, chavvy behaviour, that sort of thing, then the children are going to be the same. Like, I hope people realise that. So the younger generation, my generation, do have it more difficult than the older generation because they've had it good. They have had it good. We're going to finish the video there, guys. Hope this video, you found it valuable. Hope you enjoyed it and this actually was some advice that you could implement and take away into your own life. And I genuinely hope your life improves as a result. If you do like the advice that I'm giving out, if you found it valuable, found it helpful, then I have developed Creator Mind Mastery, which is my own mindset program. And I'll train you up to go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Everything I've learned about mindset, which is the only thing that's important, your mind, everything I've learned so far on my success or entrepreneurship journey, I'm going to share with you guys inside of that course. Have weekly training sessions as well. So as the community grows, as we get more and more like-minded guys, like-minded men in there, we're going to have so much fun in there. I want it to be a community of brotherhoods, a community of brothers in a brotherhood, rather than just a one-time purchase you make and you find it very helpful, but I want it to be helpful for the rest of your life, that kind of thing. So yeah, see you in the next video, guys.